guys. Hey guys, what's going on? How are you? I know I'm early, but I actually was I guess I'm on time. I'm a little bit early. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning everybody. What's going on? Um gosh, there was just I feel like I say this every day now. There's just so much going on. Anyway, let me see what you guys are saying in the chat before I get started because there's two things I want to talk about. I do want to talk about phone calls from prison did put out a video with more tablet calls, and I do want to talk about that. But after yesterday's epically long 3.5 hours, um I figure maybe we could do it tonight or later, like a little later. We don't have to do it right now. Because what did they talk about? Not much. My main takeaway regarding Nesto and Sonya and the tablet calls, number one, um, they're not talking about nothing. Number two, we did learn that there's more than one kid at the house. Sonya is officially a daycare, and as I suspected, um, the little boy's father's in jail, right? Are we hearing? Is this correct? Just let me know if I know you guys will let me know. I don't even need to ask you to let me know. You guys will, of course, correct me if I'm wrong about something. Or no different. Let's say it like that. Have some different information. Okay. I do want to say shouts out to Tanika from Tanika 2 Cents. She sent me hold on. I'm gonna have to drop the link to it. But Tanika has another channel called Simply Tanika. If you know Tanika 2 Cents, she has a channel called Simply Tanika, and she shared some good news. I don't want to share her good news. I'm just gonna say go to Simply Tanika when you have a chance and go check out her video. She shared some good news, so very exciting for Tanika. So when she's on the check-in, it made me smile, like it just heartwarming. So um look at what's going on here. Thank you, Reef and Muff's mom, always spoiling me. Thank you. Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday. What's going on? We are here for the tooth. Well, I hate to disappoint you. At night, but the tooth. Wait, we are here for the tooth and night, but the tooth in bougie style. Okay. Oh, the tooth, like the truth. That's funny. Okay. Um, okay. So let me finish what I was saying and then I'll move to a little of something else. And then I want to get to these two stories and then we can get to Nesto at some point today. Um, My God. I'm like, what was I saying? Hold on, where am I on my playback? Let me get my monitor because I'm like, I got distracted. Reef and Muff's mom dropped me some coins in the form of a membership. Thank you, Reef and Muff's mom. Thank you for thinking of us. Okay. Gifting a friend and also adding to my members. So thank you so much for doing that. What were we talking about? Phone calls from prison dropped last night. I was half asleep when it happened. Love, baby. Drop some bingos in the chat. You just got a membership, okay? For free from a good friend, Reef and Muff's mom, okay? I think this is there was some lunacy. Let me just talk about it real quick. I'm not parking on this. I don't even want to talk about it right now. We can talk about it later and have a key. There was some lunacy, some crazy talk on the YouTube streets yesterday. Somebody was thinking that somebody went to their channel and went to I don't even know such editing tools. There might be editing tools like this that exist. Um, let me tell I just said, when I saw the foolishness, I just said, you know what? I'm going to take a nap because I'm gonna sit this one out because didn't have nothing to do with me, but um I know better. You know what I'm saying? I know better. And I'm glad that because they try um Sonya and her mouthpiece. Believe it or not, Sonya has a mouthpiece, Sonya Durham. And she went over to her mouthpiece channel called Blabbermouth and okay, and I guess they made an assumption. They made an assumption along with an accusation that a very reputable channel that we love to watch went over. How? Because look, can I just say this too? How can someone take from your channel when you talk every 2 minutes? That's like someone coming to my channel and seeing one of my reactions and thinking that you're going to chop it up and make it whole. There's no way. I talk too much. I talk over everything, okay? You know that like Frank's Red Hot cayenne pepper sauce, then they'll say I put that shit on everything. I talk over everything. I can't even help myself, okay? How in the world when how in the world that's it's not even possible. It's not even really even worth discussing because it's stupid. I don't even think she thought it all the way out. Not to mention, girl, I have the tablet visits all the way until March, maybe March 6th or March 5th. I was like, this woman is a freaking weirdo. Hold on a second. And I said, you know what? It's not a big damn deal. You know what I mean? First of all, you already know. First of all, who had the shit first? Period. You're accusing the people who actually brought it to the YouTube streets of coming to pilfer from you? That was crazy. Anyway, it's not even worth like debating. Do I have preview on here? Hold on a second. Let me see if I click on something. I would love if it would just show in the preview window. Extra large icons. First of all, oh, you know what? I just think it's stupid. I think it's like I don't know, it was weird. It was like, really? Just, at the end of the day, just because someone had something first, okay, fine. I'm speaking for me. If someone had something first, okay, at the end of the day, you can't be first all the time, okay? And because you got something first, now it's inconceivable that somebody else can acquire something. It's just stupid, right? It's just giving straight dumb. Let me see. I don't want to show too much of my business, but let me see. I'm gonna have to. All right, let's go down to here. So she was trying to show this, and I guess she was saying that. So okay, let me show you. So she is trying to show you this video right here. So I'm gonna have to click on this one, and then I have to share a different screen. So, I don't think it's gonna do anything. Okay. All right, I have to share like my whole screen. So this is her thing. Hold on. Uh Share screen. Okay, so from right here, this, right? She's saying because hold on, let me move this comment. Blabbermouth is saying because I don't know what I don't ask PCFP, like how they do things, but there is some sort of blur that they put on their final product that was dropped to the YouTube streets, right? So, Blabbermouth seems to think that because this is kind of it's blurred, they put a blur on the screen that somehow, look at this, and Sonya thinks people are distorting her face. Okay. She thinks because this is blurred and this is blurred, somehow they came in, took off her logo, and posted it because they didn't have the video. And I'm thinking to myself, wow. And I know a lot of you guys were upset because you guys were messaging me and asking me, did I see it? Did I hear about what was going on? I did. And was just like, it, I heard it. I saw, you know what I'm saying? I heard and I saw. Well, let me see something else. Hold on. Let me do this. So they put a blur on. So how can Sonya say that people are, this is the girl? Ain't nobody do anything with that. Sis, that's you. That's your hairline. That's what you got going on over there, baby. I'll show you the raw video now. I'll show it to you close up. I don't have a problem with it. Girl. Mm. Girl, you need to stop playing with people, okay? I would stay home, stay up off this internet, stop entangling yourself with fools on the YouTube streets, and stop creating false narratives that people are coming for you when you allow this man to call you constantly. Shall I show you? Hold on a second. Am I still in here? Okay. Let me and this is just my reaction based on what I've heard. This is okay, hold on. Let's see. Is this still my screen? Is this it? Yes. Okay. Now, I'm sure they talk more than this, but do you see how many files this is? It says Ernest William Tablet Visits. I didn't make up that title name. That title name was sent to me by Cobb County Sheriff's Department for a FOIA request. Okay. Look at this 42 files. All right. I'm gonna click. I'm not gonna show you this whole thing because PCFP hasn't put it out. And I'm not talking they already put out a video last night, and that's what we're gonna talk about later today. But I just wanna let me go to this because this was it the 19th? Let me click on this one. This is my point. This chick shows up every day. This chick talks to this man all the time. Okay. She is, I don't know what she is with this guy, but she is, I want the one when she goes outside on the balcony. Okay, here we go. Hold up. Hold up. Just to prove, it's like, girl, nobody needs your files. These files are easily obtained. Okay, these files can be easily obtained. All right. I'm thinking to myself, sis is bugging. Okay. All right. Oh, okay. You know what I did? When I shared it, I didn't share the sound. Hold on. Share screen. Boom. Okay. 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 Did I do it? I did it right this time. Okay. So another example, right? Now, how people choose to edit their content, that's their business. You know what I mean? How PCFP puts it out, that's their business. They put their PCFP phone calls from prison down here in the middle, right? Right? And they maybe for privacy purposes, Sonya Durham is out here and Sonya uses her name. Maybe they felt like they wanted to cover her name. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I hadn't asked. I have not. You know what I'm saying? Because that's Sonya having her bathroom door open. I don't care. Sonya coming out here on her balcony. I mean, clearly there's a blur situation
I
going
can't see it all
on.
now.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's
See my
Now,
view?
when Sylvia showed
Oh, okay.
this, hold on. When Sylvia showed this, you could see her four corners wherever she stays at, and she wanted people to see what it looked like outside on her balcony.
Cross-eyed.
Baby,
Is that better? I
okay.
can't see it all now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
See
That's
my
better.
view?
She wanted people to see her view. This is the lady who gets on every single video and talks about the prosecutors are on the line. People are there's no privacy. Everybody's watching. This is, we can't talk about nothing. I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? You want to go out, you want to go show the world what you want to see the view of Atlanta. You see the view of Atlanta back there in the back? Right here is the Atlanta skyline right there. Okay, that little bumpity bump over the tree line. Um Yesterday in the videos, you could not see that because the way our good friends at PCFP edited their content, they decided to blur certain things. That's their right. That's their privilege, right? That's their product that they put out, right? But this weirdo wants people to think that people actually, how in the world could you put out a continuous video when the initial video, number one, wasn't as long? Number two, the content creator, and I'm using that loosely, um, talked they ass all over it. Okay. So,
Oh, okay. Look at the free world.
Nah.
okay.
I see that city in the back
But
there.
just to
See the
debunk, just because I don't say, hey, everybody, I got my files. You guys know last week I was waiting on some legal mail. Okay. And legal mail finally came. And that's it. I don't like, sometimes I'll say, oh, if I'm planning to put something out, but PCFP had already put it out and that was cool because I pretty much react. You know what I'm saying? Like if I need to put something out, I will. But I did not have to because they put their content up and then I'm reacting to the same thing, right? Or it's part of the story that I'm telling based on this case that I've been covering for well over a year and a half or almost 2 years now. Anyway, at the end of the day, this I feel kind of debunks. Ain't nobody go to your channel to go get anything. People have their own files. I paid my whole $60. And how many cents did I pay? Let me go ahead and hold on. Let me finish
city.
this.
Yeah, I see the
Sorry,
city.
Okay.
the corruption of it all.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the
All right. All
non-blurred,
right, cool. Well, I'll check with you later then.
non-blabbermouth version. Okay. All right. So let me you got that. Let me where am I going? It's like, my God. Y'all were Fran. I was like, I'm getting ready to take not to mention I had a game to go to. Okay, I had a game and let me see. I don't want to show too much. So let me find my area. Mm, okay, which one is it? Okay. Let me show you guys. Okay. Hold up. Just so you guys. Let me see. What can you guys see? Okay, I'm showing you the screen. This is the public records menu at the Cobb County Sheriff's Department, okay? Okay. You see that where it says invoices, balance due, consist pay. I request something, I pay for it, right? And then guess what they sent? Look what they sent me. Okay. That was a week ago. That was a whole week ago. I don't know when PCFP got theirs. That was a week ago. What's today, the 14th? What was that? What's the date on that? They might have had theirs before me. Hello? Girl, look at my file. March 7, FOIA, Nesto. Nesto. Okay, okay. Enough. Okay. And I mean, I got a legal mail package. Oh, let me show you this too, girl, because I was mad. I had to send a note to one of the people that helped me. And everything doesn't cost $60. Make no mistake, everything isn't, some stuff costs and some stuff doesn't. Okay. This is the deal. I did get a package today because I was looking for the visits, Nesto's visits specifically. And I got a package. Somebody asked me to get a log. I forgot. I need to look at that email, the message again. Somebody asked me, could I get the log for something? And I had too much going on this morning, so I don't remember. I remember it happened, but I can't remember what the request was. My request center, view my requests. Literally, I ordered something like a month ago and it just came yesterday because it was sitting and waiting. Remember, I took you guys, some of you guys, maybe in members or something, I took you guys with me to the post office one day and I was expecting a package and turned out that it was waiting at the desk at the Cobb County Sheriff's Office, right? And it just came yesterday, okay? It came yesterday. I was so pissed. Let me see. Girl, a month ago. Let me show you guys this. Hold on. I don't want to show my whole government. Let's see. Because I had to send a note yesterday. Oh, it was this one. I'm gonna have to screenshot it because it's got my whole situation on here. Can I see it in this? No. I actually have to go to this one. Okay. Maybe I figured something out. When I just received my thing, I sent a note. I got it yesterday, but coincidentally, so this is on 3/3. I sent she responded like, "Oh, we're sending it out." And I said, "Hello there. Please advise if This has been mailed. I have been waiting for this request to arrive for some time. Please advise the tracking. I think it may be lost initially. It was set aside for me to pick up, but my requests are always for mail. After waiting for over a week from payment, it was mailed. Please let me know if I must reorder. Thank you for your help. 3-3. So that was what she said. And then I had sent that on 3/13. Anyway, this is just, maybe this has only happened to me 3 times. I mean, the sheriff's department is really good and they send stuff out. Thank you, you guys. You guys are so sweet. You didn't have to do that, but I certainly appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, Baba Lady. Thank you, TD Will. Thank you so much. Hey, let's talk about it. Um, they're awesome. Make no mistake. My interactions with the people at the Cobb County Sheriff's Department have been nothing but positive, and I appreciate their help with providing this valuable information that my audience loves so much, right? And I'm sure other people who get FOIAs from them, for information, I'm assuming feel the same way. But yeah, I haven't had anything but great interactions. Every blue moon, something goes missing, right? But at the end of the day, um, this is my point. When I heard her video, this is my reaction to the video from yesterday. I was like, girl, please stop. Just stop it. Stop. Because at the end of the day, this is it sounds silly. There's no way, like, it's like if right now someone decided to go and do a multitude of edits to make a clean copy of me showing you guys Sonya and Nesto without a blur. You know what I'm saying? She thinks because PCFP put a blur on their final edit makes it that somebody went over there and took from her channel. And if they did, so what? You don't have copyright. Let me just say another thing too. This is a public record. Now, I guess you can do things to a public record to make it copyrightable, but I don't know that public records are copyrightable. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? It's a public record. Okay? Period. So, I don't know. Just it was very, yeah, it was like, girl, it was just where is my Nene Leaks meme? Okay? It's like, or just my girl over there who's just like, girl, stop. Anyway, so that's that. And then so Sonya went over to Sylvia's channel to sit there and co-sign and hype her up, and it was funny. So there were some people in the comments making comments and stuff like that. So I was like, oh my God, you got to be, it really, is that what we came up with? You guys just don't understand. You're not going to see it. Anyway, let me move on. Okay. I almost feel like, okay, this is alive. Let me take this one down and get back with Samantha and Kimberly, because it's like, absolute. Nobody needs to take anything. Everything is anything that's available out here is available out here. Nobody needs to take from, like go and um go try to edit around somebody's logo or watermark. If that's what people do, I mean, it's funny that I'm mentioning that. I saw something this morning. Somebody created a short. I don't know. I didn't even click on their video to see if they were a content creator. I happened to, you guys know, sometimes I'm posting shorts in the morning. I clicked on what I click on. I had to have either clicked on Real Talk Bougie, or maybe it was Ernest Williams even, but I saw a short that I was like, that I know what my shorts look like, and I saw a short and it didn't look like a short that I'd produced. And someone else had made a short from something I had put up, right? I saw it. I got a kiki out of it because that person thought it was funny. to clip my video and make a short out of it. I didn't even bother to see whose channel it was, what they're doing. I have a particular focus, and the focus is getting my shit done, and I don't care. You know what I'm saying? This is social media. You put something out, and it's possible that's how we keep social media social, because people are going to share your stuff. They can clip your stuff. You can do things to make it not clippable from a particular platform, but you can't stop screen sharing and screenshotting. And as somebody who screenshots and screen records, why am I'm not going to like, okay. You know what I'm saying? I mean, all right, next topic. Okay. That's how I felt yesterday. And we had a great day. Farrah came in second place. Out of it was a good it was a very good competition. I'm gonna say it like that. She came in second place, and that was the first competition this week. So it was really exciting. Sis was very happy. She was exhausted today. She got up and she was so tired. Anywho, fun. Okay, let's get into this, guys. So there's a lady, her name is Samantha Marion. Let me just pull up the news stories. I do have, maybe I should read the news narrative, the affidavit first. Maybe let me read this to you guys, just so we know what's going on. Let me pull this up here. Let me share my screen. Okay. All right. I was seeing this in my timeline yesterday, and I was like, what is going on? Anyway, personally appeared before me, C. Boyd, and made oath that on or about the 12th day of March 2025 in said county and within the jurisdiction of criminal court of Shelby County, Tennessee, one Samantha Marion, date of birth 11/12/82, 42, female, was last known address, did unlawfully commit the offense of voluntary manslaughter, and the essential facts constituting said offense and source of the affiant's information are as follows. On March 12th, 2025, at approximately 1:14 a.m., Memphis police officers responded to a shooting call in front of 855 Kentucky Street, Mama's Bar and Grill. Officers arrived and located male, later tentatively identified as Rickey Boyd, suffering from a gunshot wound, laying in the roadway. Memphis Fire Department personnel arrived on the scene and pronounced Floyd deceased at 1:24. Officers also located Samantha Marion on the scene, who was one of the individuals who called 911. I would love to hear the 911 call. Officers queried her as to where the shooter was, and she replied that she shot the subject. Marion was taken into custody on the scene. Investigators made contact with witnesses Keisha Smith and Stephen Newsom, who stated that they had been inside the business with Marion when they became involved in an argument when they became involved in an argument with Floyd. They advised that Floyd left the business. They proceeded outside. While talking outside, they advised that Floyd returned and became irate and aggressive towards all three of them. This portion of the incident was captured on video surveillance of good quality. In the video, Floyd is seen throwing Marion's phone to the ground and throwing a beer can. He then gets into his vehicle and begins to drive away. Marion walks out into the roadway and appears to be recording his vehicle with her cell phone. Floyd stops his vehicle, exits, walks towards Marion. Smith is seen getting in between them, creating a distance between Marion and Floyd. The video then shows Marion walk towards Floyd, who begins walking backwards away from her. As he backs away, He is seen falling to the ground and does not get back up after that. Smith advised that Marion shot Floyd in the roadway. Investigators observed one cartridge casing on the scene and what appeared to be a gunshot wound to the front of Floyd. Additionally, investigators observed a black handgun in plain view inside Marion's 2023 Nissan Altima Tennessee tag, which was parked at the business. The offense occurred in Memphis, Shelby County, Tennessee, on, well, I'm going to say March 12th, but sworn and subscribed before me on the 12th of March, 2025. Okay. You get the gist of what's going on. Turns out, sir is a pastor. Okay. What he was doing out, I think he's a pastor. Let's hear stories. Okay, hold on. They said that she is his mistress. I'm just gonna, you guys already know what I'm gonna say. You guys already know what I'm gonna say. And I'm going to say, keep your legs closed to married men, because these married men are trouble. And they're going to get you in trouble. And it's going to be some trouble. Okay? Keep your legs closed. Hold on a second. Let's see. You guys already know what I'm going to say. Now, sis took a cute mugshot, but I don't, you know what I'm saying? Don't you want to be at home?
Today, it's been a little over 24 hours since SamanthaMarion was taken into custody and charged in connection with the shooting death of Pastor Rickey Floyd. Today, the 42-year-old was in court for the very first time to be arraigned. Thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Alex Coleman.
And I'm Shay Simon in for April this afternoon. Today, she requested a public defender who, as WREG's Jarita Patterson explains, could later ask the court to lower Marion's $100,000 bond.
And was looking down, entering court Thursday before scooting down, completely out of view of our camera. Judge Taylor Batchelor called the 42-year-old up.
Miss Marion, good morning.
Where she was officially arraigned in connection to the shooting death of Pastor Rickey Floyd.
You're here charged with voluntary manslaughter. It carries between 8 and 30 years confinement should you be convicted of that offense. Do you understand your charges?
Marion, who you could see take a deep breath, barely over a whisper, said she understood. What prosecutors are trying to understand is what the court-appointed counsel, which Marion requested, will do moving forward, which could determine the prosecution's next move.
We don't really know what the defense is going to do, but the defense might very well argue for a reduction.
Your bond in this matter has been set by a judicial commissioner prior to me receiving the case at $100,000. $100,000 is your bond.
An amount District Attorney Steve Mulroy approves of.
We have no plans right now to move to increase the bail in this case.
Thursday, we also met the longtime prosecutor who will oversee this case if it goes to trial.
I've been in criminal law for, let's say, I started in 1983, so I guess that'd make me 42 years.
As things currently stand, SamanthaMarion is being held.
Ma'am wanted us to know she's
on $100,000 bond, telling the court she was unsure if she or her family could actually pay that amount. So in lockup is where she remains. Reporting for your news leader inside the CJC, Jarita Patterson, WREG, News Channel 3.
And the coverage following the killing of Pastor Rickey Floyd continues. Coming up on the news at 5, an exclusive interview from Samantha's mother, who says her daughter opened fire out of fear. That story and much more still to come.
Hold on.
Shooting at a South Memphis bar leaves a well-known Memphis pastor dead. Thank you for choosing your news leader at noon. I'm Zanetta Lowe.
And I'm Todd Demers. The victim has been identified as Pastor Rickey Floyd by Memphis police. He was the pastor at the Pursuit of God Church in Frazier, who your news leader spoke with several times over the years about his faith and work in the community.
That's right. We have Team 3 coverage throughout the day about the killing of Pastor Floyd, starting with Raven Copeland, who's live right now outside the pastor's church. And Raven, I see that parking lot full. Church members have been gathering there throughout the morning.
Good afternoon, Zanetta.
Hold on a second. Let me share this with you guys. Girl, the Pursuit of God Church in Memphis. Let's see. Oh, okay. Pastor Rickey Floyd, the senior leader. Excuse me. Pastor Rickey Floyd is the senior lead pastor at Pursuit of God Transformation Center and founder of Salvation Revelation Ministries, a nonprofit focusing on community and spiritual development. Okay, sir. He holds a leadership role, multiple community organizations. Pastor Floyd is an author and renowned speaker. He lives in Memphis with his family. Pastor Sheila Floyd co-leads the Pursuit of God Transformation Center and serves as vice president of Salvation Revelation Ministry. She sits on multiple boards, multiple community boards, and has earned several accolades for her contributions, including Tri-State Defender, Top 50 Women of Excellence. Sheila is also an author, marriage counselor, and hosts the School of Marriage Enhancement, recognized nationally. I think that his wife, right? Is that not his wife? On November 2000, Apostle Rickey Floyd began meeting with Pastor Sheila and their 3 small children for Bible study in the living room. The Lord instructed him that he needed to convince his family he was a man of God before he could convince the rest of the world of the same. He was further instructed to not encourage anyone to come to their home Bible study, but not to reject those who came. Okay, so fast forward 25 years, okay? Sir was out on what was that night? What was the 12th? If today is Friday and this happened on the 12th at 1 a.m, so he was out on late Tuesday night with his mistress. Okay. All right, let's go back over here.
And Todd, that's right. I've seen several clergy members comforting each other and just grieving over this unimaginable loss. Now, as you mentioned, Memphis police say Pastor Floyd was shot a little after 1 a.m. outside of Mama's Bar and Kitchen in South Memphis. Now, according to investigators, the pastor and the suspect, SamanthaMarion, argued before the deadly shooting. Marion is now charged with voluntary manslaughter. As we work to find out more information from police, the city of Memphis and Pastor Floyd's congregation are mourning. The pastor was known for his dedication to helping youth. He also advocated against gun violence in the city. Pursuit of God Church released a statement that says in part, quote, his unwavering dedication to our community and his profound impact on the lives of those he touched will be remembered and cherished. Mayor Paul Young also shared his condolences, saying, quote, his death is more than a loss for his family and the congregation. It is a loss for Memphis. Now, our Team 3 coverage continues all afternoon. We'll bring you more reaction from the city and the church. Reporting live in Fraysia, Furger News leader Raven Copeland, WREG News Channel 3.
Okay, Raven, thank you very much. And coming up on News.
Oh, wait, let me show you guys this real quick. Is this it? Okay. Oh, man. Okay. I was trying to make it big and then an advertisement pulled up. There's her mugshot. This is bad. This is very bad. I mean, this is a high bond. And
News Channel 3 at 3, our Alex Coleman will sit down one-on-one with County Commissioner Charlie Caswell, a dear friend of Pastor Floyd's, to talk more about the life that he leaves behind.
Todd, thank you. And our Team 3 coverage continues this noon. Joining me right now with more on the life and legacy of Pastor Rickey Floyd is Dr. Keith.
Why are they not mentioning that he was out at a bar on a Tuesday night? I don't know what happened, but this is supposed to be his mistress. And what's going on? You think that's who if anyone is in contact with Miss Marion, she needs to contact attorney Leslie Ballin, okay? If anyone out there is in contact with Miss Samantha Marion, but I don't know, she asked for a public defender. She might not have the money to get Leslie Ballin. With a name like, is it Ballin? Girl, she might not have money for that. And if Leslie is not on the court appointed list, she might not,
Norman, who's pastor of First Baptist Broad. Pastor Norman, thank you so much for being with us as you are with our community during difficult times. And this is another one, certainly hard to hear that someone who talked so much about getting folks out of gun violence and mentoring young people and young men has now become a victim himself to gun violence.
Yes. First of all, our condolences go out to his family and, of course, to his church family, and then to the broader Frazier community. Rickey was a well-beloved person, and especially among his clergy colleagues as well. Many of them have reached out this morning, and my prayers go out to them as well, because men and women who do great work in this city are often, unfortunately, a part of what happens to everyone else. And so our prayers go out to his wife, to his children, his grandchildren, people whom he loved and very, very proud of. He was always very proud of his family.
Absolutely.
So certainly our prayers are with them. This is something that shocks our city.
I mean, I hate to say it, but
it devastates us at a moment and a time. And
this isn't going to be a proud moment for them. I mean, where was Dad? Why was Dad out so late? Why was Dad out with this lady? Why? You know what I'm saying? It's a bunch of whys. You know what I mean? Let me flip over here because I'm really most interested in the story at this point. I'm sure he was a good guy, to the people that enjoyed him.
The mother of Samantha
Marion,
the woman charged in connection to the shooting death of Pastor Rickey Floyd, is breaking her silence tonight on behalf of her daughter. She didn't want us to show her face, but she does want to.
Your mom is coming to speak on your behalf, and maybe she doesn't want to be targeted if people are mad about the pastor passing.
Want everyone to know that her heart goes out to the pastor's family, and her heart also breaks for her family to see her daughter behind bars.
Things are calm in this Whitehaven neighborhood where SamanthaMarion lives, a far cry from the chaos the night before, miles away here in South Memphis, where the 42-year-old was taken into custody and later charged in connection to the death of Pastor Rickey Floyd. Since being arrested, no one except for family has heard from Samantha, so we went to the family home.
Oh my God, when they go to people's houses, oh my Jesus, okay? It takes a lot to pull up in front of someone's house and ring that bell. Hey, hi, I have some questions. What was your husband doing out on Tuesday night? Did you know he was out with his girlfriend?
Samantha's mom answered at the McPherson Road home she shares with her daughter. Although a bit hesitant, she eventually opened the front door before opening up about the one moment that forever changed the lives of many.
I'm sorry that there has been a death. I'm sorry for the family.
While also voicing concerns for her child.
This is not my daughter's character. And she was defending herself, and maybe in her mind was defending the two friends she was with.
According to a police affidavit, Pastor Floyd became, quote, irate and aggressive towards all three. Her friends seen here embraced her. As one told detectives, she tried getting between Floyd and Samantha when it's alleged the pastor began walking towards the woman who would later allegedly fire that single fatal round.
Anybody in any situation, when you become afraid, you become afraid. And fear, will drive you to that. And she had to be awfully scared.
Samantha's mom, who was visibly upset, then lowered her head while putting her hand over her heart before delivering a message to her daughter, who she tells us is currently on suicide watch in jail.
She needs to continue to have faith in God and know that we love her and we're praying for her.
Is faith those who knew Pastor Floyd are also leaning on.
We just gotta stay in prayer for each other, watch, as scripture says, as well as pray.
Samantha's mother telling us, of course, she understands the pastor's family is grieving. She's grieving as well, she went on to tell us. She's hopeful her daughter will be able to return to the community she's called home her entire life sooner rather than later. Reporting for your news leader, Jarita Patterson, WREG, News Channel 3.
I mean,
a shooting this morning in South Memphis kills a beloved pastor from Frazier. Police say Rickey Floyd died just after 1 a.m. outside Mama's Bar and Kitchen on Kentucky, right at Crump Boulevard. They say Floyd and a woman were seen arguing before she shot him. Tonight, 42-year-old SamanthaMarion is charged with voluntary manslaughter. Now, we do not know yet exactly why the trigger was pulled. But what we do know is that Floyd was a passionate advocate for his Frazier community as pastor of Pursuit of God Church. Floyd also started programs and businesses meant to improve the lives of others, especially young people who needed guidance, in his words, to stay on the right path. Fox 13 continues our team coverage here at 6, first from Pastor Floyd's home church, and he also from some of the businesses that he helped build, both now part of his legacy to improve his community.
let me just, yeah. They haven't updated the page yet, but that's Pastor Rickey and Pastor Sheila over there on the website. Baby, I don't envy that lady at all. I mean, I feel bad for her. We don't know what their situation was. Clearly, Sir was out on a Tuesday night with his girlfriend and their friends. It seemed like he was out with friends. He was out with her and out with another couple. But they say, greetings. We welcome you to our new spiritual home. It is with great anticipation and expectation of your future, and we are delighted you are here. Our church is a great place to connect with the body of believers who want to grow in their relationship with the Lord. Pastor Rick, let me tell you something. If you don't learn one thing coming over here, there's so many crimes that can be avoided by keeping your legs closed to married men. These guys who are out here who don't mind backing out the driveway and going and having outside relationships that can put you in harm's way or be in harm's way or have you ridiculed by the community, baby, they're very dangerous, okay? Extremely dangerous, okay? And now he's going to have to be funeralized sometime coming soon, okay? And ma'am is in jail, okay? 42 years old and really should be at work right now or doing something positive, but ma'am is sitting over there in Orange, over there in the Shelby County Jail, dealing with a married man, and then you have a woman who has to be dragged because her husband, decided to live his life a certain type of way, and then you got grown kids. This is very embarrassing. They might have grandchildren. They at least have a grown kids, because on their bio they mentioned something about children in 2000. So it's 2025 now. So that's been a minute. Anyway, let's go back and listen to like one or two more just to get the gist of what's going on here. But yeah, prominent figure who happens to be a pastor in the Memphis area was shot dead by his mistress 2 nights ago.
He's been a father figure to me, like I said, over 25 years. And so I don't know. It's not words that we really can say. It's just that we got to do it. We got to keep fighting.
Thank you, YouTube
for
user.
the legacy of this man who did so much great in our city and for so many people to help us get where we are.
Words from Commissioner Charlie Caswell there. Now, legacy is one of the words that kept coming up today as we talked to people about Floyd. His positive impact made the pain.
I want to hear the defense tell us all the information. I just love how nobody is saying that was his girlfriend. Now, I saw I've seen a couple of stories about it being his girlfriend
all the
or
more difficult
his
to handle
mistress.
for members of his Pursuit
But I guess
of God
they
church.
want to, for the family, maybe they decided they're going to try and take it easy.
in Fraser. Fox 13 investigative reporter Kayla Solomon is there live right now. Kayla, tonight there was supposed to be their midweek service.
Yeah, Daryl, but I was told earlier today that that midweek service has been canceled, and now this complete closure of this campus is happening, at least for the rest of tonight. Now, we know that this is the location that Pursuit of God Church has been in for the last 5 years, but I spoke to some church members who say they knew Pastor Rickey Floyd much further back than that.
My heart very heavy. I'm sure everybody's seen it. Their heart feel the same way.
Heavy hearts, but still full of prayer.
We understand that our heart is heavy.
As people showed up Wednesday to Pursuit of God Church to pay respects to Pastor Rickey Floyd.
He was my pastor for about 10 years. He had a good impact on the community due to the violence and bringing the teenagers together.
He's a great person in the neighborhood. He helped so many people out here.
Fed a lot of people.
He fed people. He did a lot.
Among the mourners was church member, friend, and Shelby County Commissioner Charlie Caswell.
He could have moved his church anywhere. He stayed planted here in what is one of the #1 violent zip codes in our community to fight for our children and families so we can change the narratives and outcomes that we see happening in our community. I wouldn't be who I am. I wouldn't be the man that I am. Because I was that young boy. One of them, he saved 20-some years ago, that was headed down the wrong road, but Floyd saw something in me.
Well, I hate to say it, and I'm not trying to be cynical, but Floyd needed to see something in himself because he's helping a lot of people, but he needed to help himself because unfortunately, we all fall short, right? It's unfortunate if this man truly is out on a Tuesday night with his girlfriend, baby, you had commitments elsewhere, like your own bed at your own house with your own wife. And it's unfortunate, but sometimes examples are set because you're out here leading your flock, and it's unfortunate. But this, this deception came to an end on Tuesday night, and you see this happen a lot. People getting busted out very publicly and tragically. This is something that didn't have to happen because he didn't have to be in a relationship with this woman. Absolutely. Actions have consequences.
Caswell said his emotions stem from the
he's got these people out here crying, devastated. I wonder, are they more devastated? I'm going to assume they're devastated by his passing, but is anybody surprised about the girlfriend, or was it just a bad kept secret? No one's outraged by the crime. They probably don't even want to talk about it because the minute they talk about it, you got to acknowledge the mistress, right?
Void he and other Fraser leaders will now have to fill.
This is going to be hard. This is going to be hard. And for us as a community, again, the legacy of who he was, and the things that's happening in this community has been because of what this man fought for.
Now, of course, the campus here at Pursuit of God Church is not only home to the church services, but there are a number of nonprofits that work out of here, including the Husband Institute, which Pastor Floyd started, as well as Agape Children and Family Services. Daryl?
That is,
I'm going to just say they can go ahead and shut down that husband ministry because, the husband was out on a Tuesday night with his girlfriend and got caught up and is now deceased. This is a mess.
investigative reporter Kayla Solomon live in Fraser.
This is a mess, okay? This is an absolute mess. Anyway, okay. We're gonna keep our eyes out. This is unfortunate. Like I said, I kept seeing her in my timeline. I don't think there's anything else. We saw her in court. I think she has court coming up. Let me see what the date is on that. I feel like they said court on the 17th. So I don't know if they're going to they're doing another on the street interview. Let's watch this one before we go, because these immediate reaction hold on a second, and then we'll pivot Girl, this next story, you guys are going to be like, what is really going on?
Breaking news on your news leader at 4 today. We're learning more about what may have happened to a well-known pastor who died in the streets of Memphis early this morning.
He died in the streets. How embarrassing is that?
Pastor Rickey Floyd was shot and killed outside a South Memphis bar and kitchen. Thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Alex Coleman.
And I'm April Thompson. We're just getting information in from police this afternoon. An affidavit says 3 people, including a woman who is now charged, got into an argument with Pastor Floyd. It goes on to say that a video from Mama's Bar and Kitchen shows Floyd threw the suspect's phone to the ground along with a beer can.
Now, police say he started to drive away, but got out and walked toward her. Then she reportedly moved toward Floyd, and that's when police say he walked backwards away from her and then fell to the ground. Of course, this has all sent shockwaves all across Memphis and the Mid-South.
Indeed, those in the community as well as other pastors are responding hours after learning the man who preached nonviolence is one of the city's latest victims of violence.
Crime scene tape blowing violently in the wind marks the spot where a violent attack happened overnight. It was just after 1 a.m. when police were called here to Mama's Bar and Kitchen at the corner of Kentucky Street and E.H. Crump Boulevard. Listen as dispatch relays information from Broadcastify.
It was involving a female shooting a male who was constantly approaching her in an aggressive manner.
Police, along with other first responders, soon arrived, but there was nothing they could do. This ambulance sat idle as the man shot was never rushed away from the scene. Instead, this is where he was pronounced dead. The victim, we learned, is Pastor Rickey Floyd, the senior lead pastor of Pursuit of God Transformation Center in Fraser.
I don't know what to say. A pastor would be slaughtered. It's just rare, and I guess it's rare, but it seems to be.
He wasn't slaughtered. That's number one. Number two, he was out in the streets at 1 o'clock in the morning when he should have been in the sheets with his wife. Okay, I'm just gonna say that's my opinion. But that's not a slaughter. He was out with his girlfriend instead of his wife on a Tuesday night when he should have been at home. When he got in that car and started taking off, he should have kept his foot on that gas and headed over to the house. Okay? But he stopped his car, got out the car, and then chose to engage in a situation that at his big age, he should have let go, cooled down, or also realize, what the fuck am I doing? I got a whole entire wife at the house. That was his opportunity to live. But he chose to get himself out that car. And that could have cost him his life. Now, whether she is culpable or not, we're not in court right now. But at the end of the day, sir got in his car and left, and then stopped, turned around, came back. That's what cost him his life.
An occurrence that's happening more often.
A manager here at Mama's Bar and Kitchen told us off camera this did not happen inside the establishment. They're also telling us it happened once they closed up. She wanted to make that clear. However, what's unclear is what prompted the deadly shooting. A source with first-hand knowledge of the case says there was a dispute between Pastor Floyd and a woman later identified as SamanthaMarion. The source goes on to say the pastor threw her phone before things spilled into the streets and then spiraled out of control, ending with SamanthaMarion allegedly shooting and killing the pastor. She has since been charged with voluntary manslaughter, a killing in which someone is said to have acted in the heat of passion. While police continue piecing together what happened, there's a community far and wide grappling with grief.
To all of those in Memphis and Shelby County and throughout the country and throughout the world that had the chance to encounter this brother's life and ministry. So it's definitely a time to mourn.
For your news leader in South Memphis, Jarita Patterson, WREG News Channel 3.
Oh,
And that police affidavit says the suspect, 42-year-old SamanthaMarion, admitted to the shooting. She's charged with voluntary manslaughter and is set to be in court tomorrow. And earlier today, Dr. Keith Norman, pastor of First Baptist Church Broad, spoke with us about his colleague and good friend.
While he was a great preacher, the staple of his mark on the city of Memphis would be his love and care for people and innovative approach to doing ministry outside of the pulpit and outside of the four walls of the church. He was strongly committed to that, and I'm prayerful that we will remain focused in that area and keep that legacy alive.
He went on to say Pastor Floyd was an advocate and his voice will remain.
We're going to just stop right there. We'll keep our eyes on what's going on with Samantha. It's, it's unfortunate that this had to happen, but it didn't really have to happen. This was an unfortunate set of circumstances that ended almost in the cliche of which it comes from. Like, it's a cliche at this moment. This man unfortunately was out in the streets when, like I said, he really should have been home in the sheets. Okay. Nobody has mentioned, like, they just like randomly this lady and he get into an argument, but it has been reported and said that this lady was his boo. They got into it. Now, maybe, who knows? I'm sure we're going to find out from the defense. The defense and the people who witnessed the situation, maybe the people who were either they were partying with them or however it went down. We're going to find out from that. Okay, so let's pivot, guys. This was a interesting thing that happened. So I thought that this happened like just the other day, but this actually happened almost a month ago. So there was a fire in Waterbury, Connecticut. A couple of you guys sent this to me too, but it's like in everybody's timeline, because when you see this lady's mugshot, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't even know where to start. I guess maybe let's just start with this one. Just a second. It's all right. Okay. I almost feel like this lady. I'm just gonna let them tell you.
Unspeakable abuse uncovered in a quiet neighborhood. A man allegedly locked away in a home, starving and alone for decades.
If he would have just banged on the window or something, we could have helped him.
Tonight, questions mount over how the victim slipped through the cracks in the system.
To figure out what happened, why it happened, and to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Tonight, looking for answers after a man says he was held captive by his stepmother for more than 20 years. Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Mark Zinni. This is a case that's making national headlines right now after the 32-year-old victim was rescued. But there are a lot of questions about how all of this happened. Your reporter Bryant Reed is live in Waterbury with more on the next phase of this investigation tonight. Bryant.
Mark, the woman arrested in this horrific case is free on bond tonight. However, you'll notice that she hasn't returned to her home here on Blake Street. And if you get a closer look in the windows, you'll notice that they're still boarded up after police say the victim set his room on fire in order to be rescued. Now, tonight, a lawmaker told me what needs to be done moving forward so this never happens again.
The young man's unimaginable suffering over the course of 2 decades is just a reminder of the darkness that does exist in our world.
Arraigned and handcuffed, but released on bail, Kimberly Sullivan afforded a freedom she allegedly never allowed her stepson, which, according to police, is what led him to setting a fire to escape the home.
Information was very guarded on what was released and when he was able to see other members of the family and other members of the community.
Waterbury Police Chief Fernando Spagnolo diving into the investigation with plenty of questions still to be answered, despite allegations from the victim saying he was forced to drink toilet water and lived on the verge of starvation. There were also concerns and complaints 20 years ago from the victim's school and friends, not only because the victim was pulled out of elementary school by his stepmother, but he was also showing up to school hungry, forced to ask for others' food or eat scraps from the garbage. The victim says DCF made 2 visits back in 2005, once for a welfare check, another because the family wanted to file charges against the school for harassment. According to DCF, none of the abuse and neglect claims were substantiated, so they got rid of the paperwork after 5 years, per state policy. Republican Senator Jason Perillo is the ranking senator on the Children's Committee, which oversees DCF policies in the legislature, and says a thorough investigation needs to be done.
Understand what the schools did, what they knew, what they shared. If there are folks at DCF who are involved in this, who still work there, those folks have to be talked to. Quite honestly, if there are folks involved who don't work there, DCF has an obligation to pursue them and figure out what was done or what could have been done differently.
Kimberly Sullivan's lawyer says any and all allegations they vehemently deny.
Absolutely.
I'm just trying to understand that eyeliner situation that's on top of her lid. Do you see that? They had him drinking toilet water.
Shocked.
I was messed.
Okay, absolutely appalled by these allegations. Absolutely shocked.
Now, Sullivan, although out on bond, still does have to report to a probation officer. Now, in the meantime, neither Sullivan nor her lawyer have explained exactly how her stepson got into the condition that he was found in. Meanwhile, Sullivan will return to court on March 26th.
Let me say this. Her lawyer says that this is a complete fabrication. She's not responsible for how he ended up in this condition. And they are looking forward to their day in court to be able to explain some type of way what happened, which I was like, you got to be kidding me, sir. But that's what he said. So let me see. Is it this one? Okay, let's yes. Okay. Girl, this is a mess. $57. The volume is super low, and I haven't found any alternative audio of this, so you have to put your volume all the way up, okay? But it's only 4 minutes, so you'll get the gist.
That's correct, Your Honor. Proceed down to the for the state. Procedurally in this matter, Ms. Sullivan's bond was argued yesterday. Judge Schwartz set it at $300,000 to be set only in court. I believe she's posting that bond today. The state's going to ask for the conditions of electronic monitoring with 24-hour home confinement and intensive pretrial supervision.
Yeah, as to that condition, Your Honor, just very briefly, if any conditions are put on by the court, what we would be asking for is simply just GPS monitoring. At the end of the day, Your Honor, given these allegations, Ms. Sullivan is not a threat to the general public. All these allegations do go as all these allegations are against one specific complainant. There was a non-financial condition of bond yesterday as to the protective order. A full protective order was issued by Judge Schwartz yesterday. So I do believe that all the purposes of bail would be able to be met with Ms. Sullivan with the non-financial guidelines that were set yesterday.
So explain to me what the difference is between the GPS monitoring that you're suggesting and electronic monitoring.
The GPS monitoring allowed her to move freely around the state.
I'm sorry?
The GPS monitoring would allow her to move freely around the state. The EMS monitoring would require home confinement.
And the state's reason for the request for the home confinement?
She's 57 years old. She's facing significant, if not the rest of her life in jail on these charges if proven. Additionally, the state does feel, based on her actions, she is a threat to members of society, especially if she's ever have contact with another child.
she have a prior history?
No prior convictions, no prior arrest, Your Honor.
No convictions? Was there a recommendation from bail yesterday? Do we know? I was informed bail was going to be the very
Bail recommended the amount set was more than $300,000.
Well, you guys want to be listening?
No.
Nothing. So the allegations in this are quite serious, and the court is not comfortable with without some type of monitoring from the community, in addition to simply assuring bond. So the court will set conditions of release that will include the intensive pretrial supervision requirements that probation monitor the defendant. She is checking on a regular basis with adult probation, and she is to submit to any evaluations that are suggested. And if there's a suggestion for counseling, she is to begin that suggestion.
I just wish we could hear this so much better.
These are the conditions the court is setting today. We're going to give it a very short continuance. If there's any type of non-compliance, then obviously the court will consider what's ready.
Why? So why is the cameraman being messy? And why is the cameraman being messy? Did you see that close up that they did? Was that an accident, or was the cameraman being messy? Messy. Okay. They were just like, look, girl, on the like, I've never seen an application like that before. That was wrong. We can't even hear. She got bail, and allegedly she's out. The word on the street is that she's out. She has to check in with someone for monitoring. I don't think they put her on a GPS. I'll pull the document just to be able to verify exactly what the bail consisted of. Hopefully next time they get her in court, they got some mics going on. I appreciate the cameras in the courtroom, but damn it, can we get some mics? I'll take audio over video any day. I mean, both of them are priceless, but we want to know what's going on. We don't care about just seeing her. We'd like to hear the proceedings, right? Okay. This was a girl, her attorney. Hold on, let's see. Is this the one where he's going to talk the BS? I'm like, sir.
Absolutely. Yeah, so she
Look at her lawyer.
Completely maintains her innocence. From our perspective, these allegations are not true. They are outlandish. I mean,
He said they're outlandish. The man is 32 years old. He was in a room that was locked with a freaking padlock. He had to set a fire for the firemen to come get him out. When I read you some of these details, you guys are going to be like, oh my God. Okay. Her husband has been dead, I think, at least a year or two now. So when your husband died, you just had no plan on like, okay, it's time to free stepson. She's maintaining it was her ex-husband. Not ex-husband, her late husband, excuse me.
Was blown away when she heard these allegations. She's adamant they are not true.
The attorney is standing there saying that she was blown away. What do you mean she's blown away? You've got a grown man who's 68 pounds upstairs locked in a room and you're blown away. What does that mean?
Being able to vindicate her and show that she's done nothing wrong.
Can you speak on, I guess, what your stance is? What she, I guess you say she's innocent. Can you just kind of expand on that?
She's never locked him in a room. That is absolutely not true. He was not locked in a room. She did not restrain him in any way. She provided food. She provided shelter. She is blown away by these allegations. It is shocking, and what's more shocking to me is someone can be falsely accused of such a thing.
And you mentioned her husband passing away recently. Is
Correct.
he potentially someone who was
the biological father? Well, I mean, he was the biological father. He's the one that dictated how his son would be raised. We think as the evidence comes out, you will see that she's not the villain she's being made out to be. Absolutely not.
You mentioned that the allegations were being corroborated. I mean, how are the allegations really being corroborated?
Well, the allegations seem to be based on the words of one individual and one individual alone. I did not see anything in the warrant to indicate any independent evidence to corroborate these allegations. So we'll see how they stand up at trial. I do anticipate a trial in this case, given the shocking nature of the allegations. She's adamant. She's done nothing wrong.
Where's the boy now? Where's the
I don't know. But my understanding, he's based on my review of the warrant. There was no other person to corroborate any of the claims that were made, and we'll, at the appropriate time, we'll get into the motivations and the credibility of any witness.
Please get your name on camera.
Ioannis Kaloidis. It's IOANNIS. That's Ioannis.
Can you believe this?
So shockingly different than anything any of us have ever worked on. Again, collectively, our major.
All right, we're gonna fast forward because it's like they're challenged with microphones.
8 years, give or take. And it's as horrific as.
This is a interesting. Okay, hold on. It's an interesting interview, but it's hard to hear because it's so freaking low. This is the principal who knew him when he was from kindergarten to 4th grade. And he's kind of like almost, I'm going to just use the situation where you had like Jernell and Kiwana trying to report to CPS. This guy, he and a few teachers had reported the situation. He is the principal, called mom like, hey, your son, your stepson is taking people's lunches. He's snatching people's food. He says he's very hungry. I caught him drinking water out of a urinal. We need you to, like, what's going on? How can we help type thing? Nothing. So let's hear from the one of the principals and how not shocked he is that this whole thing happened, because the victim fell off the radar at a certain point. It's no, bio mom has not been in the picture. Why, we don't know. But dad married that woman, and they had twins. So he's got twin sisters. And I think based on a couple of the reports that I watched, is that when they reached out to the twins, and basically what was said was there was intimidation and threats. And basically they were raised like that. They were raised in a way that I guess almost since they were, but you would think that once they got old enough and they left the house and realized that this is not normal, that they would have sent a kite. They would have anonymously called, like, oh mom, oh my God, like just anonymously turn their mother in. But maybe if she is dealing, we don't know. She could be into some weird stuff. And let's let the principal talk, because this is very interesting. You're going to be like, this sounds a lot like I said, if you have been watching with, there's always seems to be somebody who sees what's going on. And then what happens? They get threats, they get harassment. They say, you're harassing us. So he's they actually wanted to sue the school system because they said they were harassing them about the boy. She goes and ends up taking the boy out of school, like she's going to homeschool him. And that was his one refuge, which was being at school. She pulls him out of school. He gets locked in the room. He's never seen again.
The student in question was a kindergartner, and it was my first year as principal of Barnard Elementary School. And I just remember seeing this kid. He was just so tiny, much smaller than usual 5-year-olds, maybe a quarter of the size. I mean, it's absolutely tiny, and he had no color to his face, and he looked emaciated. He looked like he wasn't eating at all. And as time went on, and again, you're a new principal, so you're kind of getting the ropes of the school. I would walk in the morning. Now, Barnard was an old elementary school built in 1898. It's used for adult ed now. And they had, the kids would come in the morning, and there was an old bathroom, boys' room downstairs, and they had the old type ceramic urinals, which were probably about 4 feet high, bigger than him. And I would walk in there in the morning, and he would be flushing the toilet, drinking the water coming out of the urinal as it's raining. I'm going, oh man, there's something wrong with this. And he would tell me he's thirsty. Then I'm thinking, well, maybe he's thirsty. He can't reach the fountain because the water fountain was too high. I don't know if I called the mother at that particular day, but then I would find him in the bathroom almost every morning, opening up his little lunch. He had a plastic lunchbox that kids use, and it was filthy, disgusting, with just old food and crust and everything else on it. And he would open it up. This is 8 o'clock in the morning, and he starts shoving all his lunch into his mouth. What the heck are you doing? Oh, I'm hungry. I said, didn't you have breakfast? No. What's going on here? And at this point, I would call his mother, and I'd say, the kid's hungry. He's eating his food in the bathroom, this and that. Didn't get anywhere. He stopped doing that, okay? And the year progresses, the teachers are all concerned. His kindergarten teachers, what's going on? He's always hungry, blah, blah, blah. As he gets.
And the sad thing is, with the principal calling, you think you're doing the right thing because you're calling, but he probably got a beating. He probably got punishment or something because the school is calling, and they're seeing but it's kind of like, I feel like he was more instinctually behaving because he was hungry. So he was showing a certain type of aggression or behavior just based on just like basic needs, which is, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, I'm away from the person who restricts me. So especially when he's talking about him being in kindergarten, a 6-year-old, a 5 or 6-year-old who's hungry.
Gets into first grade the next year, when you go to lunch, we're getting reports from other kids that he's stealing their lunch. He's literally taking it while they're eating and eating their lunch. Now you're talking 6-year-olds now. Kids do stuff like that. So it's not that uncommon, but he was doing it constantly. So again, like Mr. Principal, I called the mother just to kind of say, hey, what's going on, this and that. Oh, I'll take care of it. No, this, not. He's eating. There should be no problem. Looking back, he probably got punished when he went home. So what I did was probably the worst possible thing for the kid. He wouldn't be stealing the food as much, but he was constantly hungry. These teachers, he had the teachers up to.
But see, people wonder why when there's a problem at school now that the teachers don't even call the parents for certain things, because if they really suspect that it's like a very serious, dangerous, life-threatening, I guess they're just going to call the police or have the authorities, the agencies come talk to you, because this is a perfect case of the principal, the teachers calling the parents, try to see what's going on. The behavior stops a little bit, but the behavior stops because there's a certain type of abuse and secrecy and all kinds of stuff going on. So the kid modifies his behavior. And then now when he's actually free, is still kind of in captivity, even while he was at school, because he had to learn to not speak and tell or even show that there were problems in the house, because he probably got punished severely. I mean, it's awful.
4th grade, they were constantly bringing food in for the kid. And he was just ravenous, devouring it all the time. He'd tell us stories of, he had two biological sisters to the mother. And mother would order pizza and he wouldn't get any of the pizza. And this kind of stuff kind of broke your heart. And over the years, from kindergarten to fourth grade, between myself, the school nurse, the parent liaison, the teachers, called DCF numerous times. If I'm saying 20, that's probably being conservative. And whether they investigate, you do the paperwork, you do the phone call, they do the investigation, they come back, we went to the house and nothing, this and that. You really weren't getting anywhere going through that agency. After fourth grade, he never went to fifth grade. And I'm not quite sure if he finished his fourth grade at Barnard School, but I definitely know he didn't show up for fifth grade. It was a small neighborhood school. It was maybe 250 kids. You know all the kids, you know the neighborhood, this and that. And so I would start asking the kids, hey, you see this and that? And I knew the kids who lived right next door. And I would ask them, and they would tell me, oh, yeah, we see him. He's in the window of the house waving out the window. I said, well, does he ever come out and play? Do you ever see him in the yard? No, we never see him in the yard. He never plays. He never comes out. I said, well, how long is he in the window for? Well, he's in the window for a little while, and then we see him the next day or the next day. So obviously, I'm kind of concerned about that. I called the police at least 2 or 3 times, could be more, for wellness checks. And I gave statements in terms of there's something wrong. This kid, he's not coming to school. There's no reports of him going to school. Kids see him in the window. What's going on? I don't remember the police literally ever coming to the school to follow up on it, but I remember them saying, yeah, they went to the house, they saw the kid, they talked to the mother, everything's fine. And I would respond by saying, how is everything fine? He's not going to school. I mean, I specifically remember the police telling me, well, the mother said she's enrolling him in Wolcott schools. And I remember actually contacting Wolcott schools. There's only 2 elementary schools there, explaining who I was. We're looking for this kid. What our concerns was, there was no record of him going to Wolcott school. The 2 sisters went to, I want to say, St. Margaret's School, which is up off Highland Avenue, somewhere up there. I don't know if it's still in business, whatever. The 2 sisters, the twin sisters, went there. So we never had any communication with the 2 sisters, but they obviously went to a private parochial school, which was a pretty nice school in Waterbury, and he was at the public school. So we basically, after 4th grade, we lost the contact, other than me calling. And I think myself, with the parent liaison, claims we went to the house when he was in 5th grade. It's more than likely we did. And I don't think anybody ever answered the door. I remember walking around the house looking. And even farther past that, had to be 2004, 2005. And after that, I was telling you about the after-school programs I do. One of the programs at the time I was doing was at Chase Park House, which is on right on the street, the main street going on Sunnyside Avenue. And we'd finish the programs at Chase Park House, and I would just drive across the street, and I would look to see if I could see. I said, that's the house. I would tell my wife the story. I said, that's where he lived. I don't know where this kid is, but I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to see this story on Dateline sometime. Without question.
Isn't it crazy how
that was not my
this guy is able to tell this story with so much detail? Like, it's almost like he's been waiting for someone to come and ask him about this kid. And 20 years later, he's talking about it like it just happened yesterday, and he'd drive by the house and never got anywhere with these people. He really did try. Just this part of the story, because he's not done. It's like, wow. He really tried. He did.
It's my thought. It was everyone in the school who had any kind of contact with the school at all. It was inevitable that this kid, you can't just drop a 10-year-old off the face of the earth and he never shows up again. And it's like, no one cared. No one cared enough to really follow up on it, other than me or somebody going up there and busting the door and pulling the kid out by his ear and saying, what the heck's going on here? Which I came to the point of wanting to do that sometimes. and didn't, obviously. But everyone really was concerned with this child since he was 5 years old. You knew something was wrong. It was grossly wrong.
How does that work that the school is saying this child isn't in school? How is it possible that, like, he was never accounted for? It's just, that blows my mind.
I think it blows everybody's mind. And whether it was the police who went to the house, and I noticed on the article that it did mention the last report, there were 2 reports of wellness checks in 2004, 2005. They had to be the ones I made because that's when we left the school from 4th grade to 5th grade. He never showed up. And I knew something was amiss when he didn't show up at the other schools or the parochial school that the sisters were at. And it kind of fell off the face of the earth. That was it. I mean, how, you kind of go on with your life. Okay, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe he moved. Maybe he went with another. That was an excuse the mother did use once. He was moving with a relative, whether it was Wolcott or someone else, Florida. I kind of remember a story like that. Never verified. So that's where it ended up until today when I'm working in the after school program in Waterbury and my phone starts blowing up with messages like, what's going on? I never pick up my phone. I just happen to pick it up. And it's all these teachers contacting me saying, do you believe this? We all knew this was going to happen. So prior to you coming, we've been calling on the phone, talking to this one, talking to that one, and saying, oh yeah, we knew this was happening. This is not a surprise to anybody. Everybody knew one day that either the kid was going to show up dead or he was going to show up in a situation like the kids out in California, the 8 children living with the locked up in the house. We've read these stories before. It was something crazy like that.
And learning that allegedly he set fire to his own home to escape the situation he was in. I mean, what do you make of that, knowing the child yourself? I mean, not a child now, but having known.
I'm actually proud of him that he had the gumption to do. He was willing to die to get out of that situation. And the same feeling myself and everybody that was involved with him in the school were sick because it had to come to that. Because what else could we collectively as a school community do to kind of cry out to say, this kid needs help. Somebody needs to go in there and find this kid and do something. And that's the extreme. He's now a man. He's a man. He's 67 pounds, according to the thing, still starving to death. For how many years for somebody to live?
Yeah, I mean, he's the eyewitness. I agree. I mean, he'll be a great witness for the prosecution as someone who has firsthand knowledge. And a lot of these people are still alive. It was only 20 years ago. You got people probably in their 50s. There's some people who, could be much older, but you got little kids in kindergarten. Girl, some of those teachers were probably 23, 24, 25, 30 years old. So you got people basically our age who experienced this kid and knew something was wrong, right? So there's plenty of people, just like the gentleman said, he was getting calls from other teachers, probably that he worked with 20 years ago that all knew this kid from the school.
Live like that when you know that was going on and you couldn't do anything about it.
That many years ago. And as someone, to what it seems like one of the only people that, if you were the last wellness check, one of the only and last people that seems to have tried to make that connection and reach out. Is there anything you want him to know? Anything you want to say?
I hope he remembers us. I mean, it was a long time ago, but I hope the student remembers the staff at Barnard School and how much they really loved him and tried to help him the much they can. And sorry, we couldn't do more because you went through more than any of us ever will go through in our lives. And I'm glad you're out of there and getting hopefully the help that you need, that you deserve. He was a good kid. The kid really never caused any other than taking people's food, but there was a reason for that. He was really a good kid. He wasn't a malicious kid. He wasn't a troublemaker. He remembers a decent student, considering everything he went through.
Yeah, wow. I mean, just such a profound story. And it's really crazy to me just hearing this, how many attempts to law enforcement in the state you folks made. I mean, you're the principal of the school. who knows better than you that this kid is not showing up? I mean, that feels like it's a frustrating thing to even, like, I can't even comprehend how you felt. Like, I'm not making this up. So we were just talking about, I mean, it's kind of insane that just to hear, like, what were you sort of feeling as an administrator? You know, you have responsibility to make these calls. You're making these calls. You went to the house. I mean, were you kind of like, what else can I do?
Right. Well, I want to make a point that it wasn't just me. It was the school nurse over and over again making calls to the mother, trying to get doctors involved with it, because we knew this kid was not healthy, not getting anywhere. It was the parent liaison. It was the teachers. I could remember almost every teacher from kindergarten, first, second, third grade being in my office with me calling DCF together. So, and it wasn't just once a year. It was numerous times a year. And even after he left the school, we were still calling. We were still concerned about it, which brings me to the point was by the time he was going to fifth grade, it was probably around 2005, 2006. The laws are different in school attendance. You could just simply withdraw your child from school and you didn't even have to make a plan for homeschooling. It was a very lax system. And a lot of parents would just say, oh, I'm homeschooling them. And that was it. And at one point, the parents had to provide a portfolio to the principal. Here's what they're doing. Very few ever did it. And it was never mandated in terms of, they never pressed the case on it. Where is it? So, you know.
Maybe if it was today,
yeah,
and this was a 6-year-old, this wouldn't be able to happen. Is that kind of the thinking?
If DCF's involved, anything's possible. And I'm giving this experience with this young student, but in my 35 years, 14 as an administrator, DCF dropped the ball 99% of the time. It's just the reality of the agency. I know every year they say they're changing, they're going to make corrections. I don't believe it. It's just, and this is a prime example. This is an absolute, I don't know how far they got involved. Once the kid got out of the system, there's probably no record of them. I'm interested to see when they do an investigation, what the DCF records, if they could find the records of the number of times that were called for, well, not just wellness checks, for concerns about it.
So you would say between you and your other, teachers, dozens of times?
Easy, absolutely easy.
Wow.
And just calling the mother. She'd always had a song and dance. There was the typical, and when you start seeing these other stories of these tragics where kids are, prisoners are in their own house. It's so similar to story you hear. Oh, they're fine. I took care of them. They had all the food they needed. The same song and dance I just read in the newspaper from the mother.
Yep.
It's frighteningly similar.
And I doubt he socialized other than school. Like, you knew him. Like, I just can't get, and not many people did. It's just really.
A lot of the kids in the neighborhood knew him. I mean, if you go, well, they're not kids anymore. No. They're grown adults. He's 35. Yeah. So I don't even know how many of the kids that were from that neighborhood are still living in that neighborhood. Though it's a pretty stable neighborhood. Yeah. A lot of, it's one generation after another is still living there. If you talk to the kids, they all knew him. They would give their lunch to him when they knew he was really, really hungry. And they were all friendly with him. He wasn't like, he didn't have any friends. It was, so what's my hope? He's a man now. Is the harm irreparable at this point? I mean, mentally, how could you survive something like that? He obviously did. And he went to the extreme what he did to try to get out. So I just pray and wish him the best, whatever his life could be after this.
It's like heartbreaking. This is so sad.
It feels like a real act of bravery from him. I mean, I can't imagine what that felt like. And it's really sad for me to think about if this is all true, that he was there for 20 years. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
Anything else you're thinking of now?
I mean, this is like 30 years. Maybe?
Yeah.
30
yeah.
years,
It's 30, 2002, 2025. We're talking 23 years. Yeah.
23 years. So 23 years, you've been basically, this has been on your mind. And now today, he's finally like,
he's free.
Free. Like, you must be elated.
Bittersweet. It's angry.
It's just that thing that's in your heart when you know that something is wrong. It's I mean, like he said, bittersweet, but it's probably also just confirmation. Like, God, thank you. I hate that he'd have to go through this, but when you know that you know that you know
More
something.
than anything else. And I think that's the same feeling I'm getting from all my colleagues that I worked with. It's more anger because you knew it. We
Absolutely.
knew it. We reported it. Not a damn thing was done. That's the tragedy of the whole thing. Yeah, you're elated because the kid's finally free. He's not a kid. He's a man. He's a little 67-pound man. How? Just try to imagine that. How could you even imagine that? So he has a lot of healing to do, and hopefully he can get the help that he needs.
So a rush of emotions must have been coming over you then today.
Everything.
As I said before, when I'm in the classroom today doing this lesson and my phone's pinging, and I go over and I look and I just see the headline. They say, "Tom, you remember this kid?" And I just screamed. I'm in the middle of a group of 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders doing a lesson, and I screamed. And they all looked at me like, "What's going on?" I said, "Oh, no, there's some information." I shared it with the teacher that was in the classroom with me. But, they knew from my reaction, viscerally, that something hit this guy really hard, and it did. It was...
Did you ever think you would see the culmination of this student's story?
I honestly expect them to find them dead. I said, a story on Dateline. That's what I always expected. And so did everybody else. You don't disappear off the face of the earth at 10 years old.
Say it.
Was 5th grade the last elementary year?
Yeah, it was kindergarten to 5th grade.
Okay,
at
so
the time.
after he didn't show up to 5th grade, he's in middle school
Yeah,
again.
right. But there was no record. I would check, with the middle school. The feeder middle school is West Side Middle School. No thing. None of the Waterbury schools had him as a registered student. So he wasn't going to school. And I think the story the mom gave me, she's homeschooling him. I think that's the story she gave to the police. And that was enough to say, okay, the mom said he's okay. He's standing next to me. He's okay. He looks okay. But I mean, Ray Charles could tell you he's not okay. I mean, that's how bad it was.
I mean, it's hard for me to wrap my head around the fact that he's 57 pounds as a 32-year-old, and not trying to sound biased, but I don't know how police and DCF could look at a child.
He wasn't 30 pounds as a 4th grader. He wasn't 30 pounds.
I'm confused on what got lost in translation there. Well, thank you so much. Anything else you're looking at?
No, but I'll probably after you leave, I'll probably think about 20 other episodes that kind of happened over the course of it. I did get in touch with his 3rd grade teachers, and I said, if you want me to share your name, you want to give me information, they don't mind. Even the school nurse, who was really actively involved in the medical issues with him, the DCF issues with him.
Would you like to see him again?
That's a tough one. I don't know. I don't know. I'd probably have it wouldn't be good.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't be
I
good
understand.
to see him like that. And,
It'd be hard.
it weighs on your head. Like you could have done, and everyone feels that way that was involved with him. What more could we have done? What could we have done to prevent it? But
Well, oh, sorry.
So there's a little bit of guilt. It sounds like you.
oh, well, question. That was the scream in the classroom today. That was the scream. Like, oh my! I knew it. I knew it.
And let me say this too. Like, as a grown man, do you imagine? So let's just say he had been wrong, right? You got this person who is constantly ringing the bell, calling the police, this, that, and the third. They're saying that the school is harassing him. What if, he said that there were times he wanted to just go kick the door in and grab the kid. But what if he had been wrong? He's a principal. He might have his own family. People are going to think you're weird. You guys remember that show Twilight Zone, where they would basically gaslight people? And then what you would think wasn't. And it was like the weirdest show ever. I'm sure you guys remember Twilight Zone. It could have been one of those like a Twilight Zone type thing. Like, oh shit, I really okay, well, you have to be willing to lose it all. And unfortunately, sometimes when you have something to lose, you can't, and you're just an outsider, it's very difficult to put everything on the line on a hunch, right? Well, I do have the police affidavit. It's like 15 pages. I don't want to do it right now because it is very it's interesting. But I feel like that guy's interview was just so touching. Because our teachers spend, any of you guys who are educators in this chat or will come through to listen to this, I mean, our teachers spend so much time with us. The observations that they make about us, you know, when you have the opportunity to meet up with a teacher and you're like adult or in high school and they're like, oh, you know, you were so smart, you did this, you did that, I remember, are you still doing this, I remember you loved doing that. Those are some really, those people knew him, they really know him. People might, oh, it's just a teacher. No, the teachers spend 8 hours with you when you're a little kid, when you're at your most vulnerable and you haven't learned how to lie, you haven't learned how to code switch, you haven't learned how to, like, he was hungry. So sad, right? This lady right here, she's evil woman and she deserves what she gets. And I'm interested to see her story when it plays out, because I really want to hear what these people are going to say about how and why this occurred. It's awful. They are and I don't know what happened with the father. I'm going to finish reading this because, like I said, it's 15 pages. But it's not super duper. It's long, but it's not crazy. But I'm going to finish reading it before I read it to you guys. I'm not all the way done with it yet because I just got it a couple hours ago and I was doing some additional research, but it's, whew. So, anywho, I'm so glad that he gave that interview. I think that interview like tells the story for a lot of people because we've seen so many horrific cases recently. And I mean, these cases are still out here. People who've got kids. I saw something about, which I'm skinny on details right now, so I can't tell you the whole story, but there was another situation where people had basically, you know, they had some people in servitude, like basically like they had people chained up like slaves that they uncovered, and it was just another, it's the things that are going on. Unfortunately, it's almost too difficult to wrap our heads around, but you know, it's awful. It's really, really awful. This lady is going to get what she deserves, which is potentially a life sentence for what she's done. There's no way that they can explain their way out of this one. It's awful, right? I'm sorry that happened. It's, you know, on a, yeah, it's definitely, it's I hope it doesn't become a trend. The Turpin siblings, I feel like I know what you're talking about. Let me see. What to know about the House of Horrors where the siblings are now? Let me see. see what was going on here. The father looks like a damn creep. Remember that show? Hold on. The father looks like, remember that show? Hey, hey, we're the monkeys. People say we monkey around, but they're too busy singing. Okay, the story of the Turpin family stunned the nation in 2018 after 17-year-old Jordan Turpin escaped the family's home in California and called 911 to report unfathomable abuse. The public soon learned the awful truth of what David and Louise Turpin inflicted on their 13 children for years. The children were imprisoned in a true house of horrors. They were routinely physically, verbally, and mentally abused, chained to their beds, and deprived of food and the ability to exercise. And as the details of what the Turpin children survived were shared with the public, many began to wonder how two parents could be so horrible to their children. It wasn't until January 18th of 2018 that the 17-year-old Jordan was able to flee the family home and dial and call and phone 911. During the call, he told the operator, "My parents are abusive. My two sisters right now are chained up. They're chained up to their beds." She continued, I live with a family of 15. Our parents are abusive. We live in filth. Sometimes I wake up and I can't breathe because how dirty the house is. After the extent of David and Louise's crimes were revealed, several of the Turpin children, who ranged from 2 to 29 at the time of their rescue, were placed in foster care, where many of them were abused by their foster family. David and Louise were eventually convicted of 14 felony counts and sentenced to 25 years to life in prison. Jordan and her siblings have been carving their new lives out for themselves ever since. In 2022, she settled into her own apartment in Southern California and told people she remained very close to her siblings. After everything that happened, I'm so protective over each one. Nothing could ever break our bond, she said. From the abuse they endured in the house of horrors to their lives today, there's everything to know about the Turpin children. What happened to the Turpin family in January 2018? She escaped. Reports later revealed that the Turpin parents restricted their food. It's just crazy. These people are nuts. I guess food is kind of a trigger. It's just because people will control the food. And I guess that's a red flag when there's a little bit too much control of the food. The children were not only being in the home where they were subjected to their parents' cruel treatment. The family's eldest child was once forced to watch her cat be mauled. Ew. Yeah, they're crazy. David and Louise found their ways to use food and gifts to torture their children. Sometimes they would leave pies out in front of the kids, but tell they couldn't have any or even touch the desserts. They also filled their home with unopened Christmas gifts, never letting the children enjoy anything they bought into the home. That's one of the kids. That's Jordan. Jordan and her 13-year-old sister escaped from the house together by crawling out of a window in 2018. It's like the Ruby Frankie kids. Look at them. Crazy as a bag of rocks. Look at them. Jesus. Oh, these are the kids now. Look at them. The Jordan and Jennifer. Let me drop this. It's obviously a long article, lots of information if you want to get into it. It's a lot. Oh gosh. Yes, they survived. That's the link to the story, guys. People Magazine has been coming through with the stories. I mean, People Magazine has always been awesome, but they're like a resource because they've been telling these stories forever, and it's like, okay, trusted source. Nuts. Anyway, guys, I'm not gonna hold y'all. I am gonna come back. It's Friday, guys. It's Friday. It's Friday. It's Friday. I will get into the phone calls from prison video if you guys want to watch it and have a laugh or two. I have to double check. I'm gonna send the request now since I have a minute. And see if I can get confirmation. But I don't know that Sonya has been there since February 2nd. She may have been there a couple times. I'm going to send the request now. It took forever for my last request to come, and I was busy doing some other stuff. So I'm gonna send a request now and see if there's actually any visits since the 2nd of like actually physically going to Cobb County. But now since they can talk their ass off, let's see. I would guess that, okay, this is my guess. Their first phone call on the video tablet was on the 17th. I would not be surprised if maybe there could be 2 more visits and I just don't have them. So I'm going to request today and see if they have them. I don't know if PCFP has them, if they're going to put them out or not. I might check and see, because the last call, the last visit I have is 2-2, which I just got the other day, but we already have seen it. That's how long it took. Normally I'll get stuff pretty timely. But I'm gonna do some checking and see if there's a 2-9 and a 2-16, because their first call was 2-17. Okay. Anywho, but yeah, we'll get together and have a laugh a little bit later. So let's see. Okay. I'll see you guys like around maybe like, I don't know. I'm not sure. I have to like 5-6 o'clock, maybe later, maybe 9. I'm gonna see what you guys say. But I will come back with the reading of this is pretty lengthy, but I think you guys just to know the detail of this story right here. It's pretty interesting. They were saying something like, his quote unquote homeschool, he was getting like 4 books to read a year and a dictionary. So basically he can read. He basically educated himself. So he told the detectives his story. So it's pretty heavy. So next time we come back, I'll read it to you guys. This lady is a piece of shit. I'm sorry. She's awful. She's awful, awful, awful. And I'm happy for the guy that he escaped and he is getting an opportunity to live his life. I hope he makes it, because it sounds like he has a lot of challenges. A lot of challenges. Girl, I fell asleep and then I woke up. When I saw, I got the alert and I was watching too, but I was in bed. I was listening. And at a certain point, it went past like about 20 minutes. And I was like, oh, this might be another 2 hours. But they did what they had to do, because people are, there's a weirdo out here. I guess we're going to start and finish with the same conversation. There's a strange person out here who thinks that if they get something first, but I'm going to go back to saying what I'm going to say. if you knew so much and your boots on the ground local, why didn't you think to go and get the calls, the videos, the text messages before I did when I reached out to phone calls from prison and tried to find out could they get them? Okay. And before they premiered it, and before they have been doing this for a whole entire almost 2 years now. If you are so concerned about somebody doing something before you and you're so boots on the ground, why didn't you have the bright idea to go and seek them out to begin with? Okay. Yes, I said it. I said it. Mhm. You're so smart. Why didn't you think of it? So, but you didn't do it in the voice. What voice? The what's it called? The blabbermouth voice? Because I'm not in. Because I'm being 100%. I'm not playing right now. This is my I'm not playing voice. Okay. This is on some shut the fuck up type. This is on some STFU. first I say it, now I'm doing STFU. This is on my I'm 100% 10 toes. This is my 10 toes down voice. Okay. Okay. Stop playing out here. Come on now. Okay. Fran said what she said. Okay. You're so smart. You didn't come up with, you know what I mean? All right. Anyway, guys, I'm going to let y'all go. These stories kind of touched my heart today. I feel really bad for these people. I'm so grateful for the survivors. You know, the young man who survived. I hate that for him, and I just hate that for anyone else who is in suffering right now, because there's a lot of people. We drive down streets every day and we don't know that there are people who are enduring the same type of suffering. It's very sad. So I hate that for him. But I think these type of stories, it gives a certain awareness to keep your eyes open, be vigilant, don't doubt yourself. Know that if you know that you know that you know something is wrong, just make a phone call, you know, because that could be the call that helps. Girl, Jay Blake. Mm-mm. Thank you, Sunflowers. You're so sweet. You guys, thank you so much. All of you guys supporting everything. I don't know what the purpose of that demonstration was last night, because it was so bogus. It was like, that doesn't really prove anything. What you're doing right now doesn't prove anything other than you're bothered. You know what I mean? All it proves is that you're very much giving bothered. But it didn't prove anything. So I'm so glad that PCFP did another dump of 2 hours that haven't been seen yet, right? So then if you're just now coming in, go to the beginning, because furthermore, yes, it looks like they put a blur edit on top. Why? I don't know. You know what I mean? That's their prerogative. You know what I mean? And she seems to think that the blur was indicative that they were able to use some type of edit eraser, if there is one, some sort of Mr. Clean edit machine to take her logo off of what she posted. But how somehow miraculously can you edit out, which you can I guess at a certain point, but she had so many breaks in the content that she posted. No one's going to do anything slow like that. That's ridiculous. Anyway, I'm done talking about it. No, I don't think she would do anything. Blake J. Blake. I can't imagine it. Right. And you couldn't even see the kids. You couldn't Muffin 218, you couldn't even see them. She just didn't want to she's so bothered. She's so bothered. I'm just going to keep it, you know what I mean? I think the blur was to protect the minors, but you can't she wasn't. There was one part on the first drop where maybe the granddaughter is in the kitchen, and because I hadn't compared when I got the link the other day, by the time I got the link, PCFP was already posting the big drop. I didn't even look at it. A lot of times I have stuff just for my own records, just because I'm covering this case, and if I want to go to something and I want to see the uncut, I don't know, you know what I mean? Everything isn't always like just, I mean, look, I have my own records just because I have my own records, because this is the case I'm following, right? If I want to go back and check something or see something that maybe hasn't dropped or dropped a long time ago or dropped with or without an edit, I just got these. I hadn't even really looked at them. It made me look at the files after I saw that ridiculous live last night. Like, what the hell is she talking about? And I mean, I got the gist of what she was talking about when I saw it, but I was just like, this is so stupid. You got to be kidding. Clearly there's a blur. There is a blur track, like a blur. You can apply a blur that will track the movement, right? So I think that's what it was, but you know what I mean? Like, and then for like to further expand on that, it had to be some thievery. Really? That's so stupid. Yes. I was like, you guys, this is so, it was very strange. Anyway. It's just a blur filter. Like, it's not that big of a deal. And then she took a still shot of Nesto, and then it had to, like, she just is convinced. It's just weird. I don't know. And then to go live, and then to have Sonya actually sat, I guess, on her computer, because normally she goes live on her phone, I guess. She's like, I never do it like this. Anyway. I feel. What is LD? Let down? I feel LD over there. What is that? She's a liar. Oh God. Why did I ask? Okay. Complete and total. Very, very wrong. You know, look, this is what I'm going to say. I think that Sonya would have a leg to stand on being annoyed at her coverage if she was running from the camera. You know what I mean? If she was running from the coverage, if she was running from the talk, if she was running from the exposure, if she was running from the podcast, if she was running from the telephone, if she seemed more genuine. This woman takes in my opinion, every opportunity, like I say almost every day, to show up to the party. She shows up every time. She shows up to the jailhouse. She shows up to the damn courthouse. She showed up to the blogger's house. She showed up to Tasha K's studio. This lady is on some can't stop, won't stop entitlement to someone else's husband. And as we saw in the earlier clip with the lady who was hanging out with another woman's husband, she's in jail right now. You want to hang out with someone else's husband that gets on your last nerve and you're a pistol packing female, you might end up in an orange suit. Okay? Let her. Okay, guys, I'm going to let you guys go. I feel drained. This whole topic has drained me. When I come back, let me get my mind right so I can get back my silly and get back let me reset, because my reset is happy-go-lucky, jokester, like good time. And right now I'm like, I'm feeling a little low energy because these type of shenanigans are just like, I cannot. I don't know how people can do it. I just can't. That type of foolishness is draining. I can understand why people who engage in this type of behavior are always pissed and always broke and always this and always that, always limited, because it's a drain to it's a drain. Oh, I got plenty. I just need to reset for a second. Anywho, I'm gonna let y'all go. Have a wonderful rest of your Friday, guys. I'll be back a little bit later. I just these are some heavier topics. So anywho, I'll see you guys in a little while. Make sure if you're new here, make sure your notifications are set so that when I go live next, you will be notified. Take care, guys. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy your Friday, and I will see you guys a little bit later. Bye, guys.